You gave me so much positive feedback and questions on the Beis Mini Roller that I decided to make you a video highlighting that mini roller. It's Leah, your professional organizer, giving you hacks, inspiration, and reviews to help you get and stay organized in your home and on your vacation. I'll leave the links to all my social media handles down below because I give you a little something different on each of the platforms. If you like what I'm sharing here on YouTube, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and thank you to all my returning subscribers. Hello, how are you doing? In my last travel bag review video, I shared the ins and outs of the new small carry-on roller from Beis, and on that video, you gave me so much positive feedback and questions on the Beis Mini Roller that I decided to make you a video highlighting that mini roller. Side note, I would love to explore even more brands and travel bags for you, so please leave your favorites that you use or you're curious about in the comment section down below. So today we're going to talk about the Beis Mini Roller. We'll look at the outside, we'll look at the inside, I'll answer the questions you've asked me about the bag, and we'll do an example pack in it. This roller is marketed as a kid's suitcase, but obviously it appeals to us adults too. They pair it with their kids' backpack, duffel, and lunchbox, but there's nothing really that kiddie about the roller on its own, in my opinion, except for the fact that it starts at a shorter profile versus a standard suitcase that just makes it easier for even smaller kids to roll around their own bags. It did launch in the typical baby colors like pink and light blue, which are bases Atlas Pink and Slate, and those colors have some neon detail in them. The second launch was in lavender and olive, and now you can get all four colors as long as they're in stock. Mine is Atlas Pink, and I think that if all four colors were available when I ordered mine, I would have gone for the olive, so that's my favorite of the four, but get whatever color is your favorite or matches your current travel bag collection. Outside of the Beis Mini Roller. Looking at the outside of this bag, it is a square version of their international front pocket carry-on roller. It's a hard shell roller with a soft front pocket that has a padded laptop sleeve. Mine has this neon Velcro closure, but in the new colorways, this is monochrome. It can fit up to a 13-inch laptop very snugly, so either with a very thin case or no case at all, or you could fit your kid's iPad, coloring books, or a notebook would fit really nicely in here. There are most of the standard Beis elements. There's the TSA approved lock, the retractable bag strap for an extra bag, a lunchbox, an iPad with one of those bulky cases with the handlebars. There are the 360-degree wheels, there's the padded handlebar, but there's not a weight indicator. It's like my comment section entered the chat and they were like, those are kids' clothes, they don't weigh anything. But no matter what size you are, your clothes and your accessories weigh something. So it would have been nice to see a 20-25 pound weight indicator for those times that you do carry your bag onto the plane, and that might be important. But at the same time, you can grab a luggage scale like this from Amazon, and I'll leave a link for one below, and that way you'll know exactly what your luggage weighs, just in case you need to know it, or you are flying an airline that weighs your carry-on bags, which, by the way, if you have already paid for your carry-on bag and you have your boarding pass in advance, who at the airport or what airports or what airlines are weighing your carry-on bags, I need to know. Dimensions of the Beis Mini Roller. Since I have this scale out, the bag without anything in it weighs 7 pounds. It is 16.5 inches wide and 17 inches high, but the wheels account for 2 inches of that, and it's 9 inches deep. It does not expand, but that is pretty standard for Beis carry-on rollers, and I am not mad about that. So to answer the question, does this fit as a carry-on bag on US airlines? The answer to that is yes. But does it fit as a personal item? That answer is no. It's a little too wide from left to right and can sometimes be a little too deep from front to back to fit as a personal item under the seat. Inside the Beis Mini Roller. Opening up the bag, it has that butterfly opening so you can pack half of your stuff on one side and half of your stuff on the other side. The front side, I would say, are like sisters, not twins, compared to the other Beis rollers, and the back side is like a distant relative. Starting with the front side, we have that full zip closure with one big zip pocket on top of that closure versus the usual two. It is nice and deep like we're used to seeing from Beis, so you can fit a good amount of stuff in here. Now on the back side, I think they took away the biggest differentiator Beis has versus its competitors. There is just a compression strap on this side, and that's pretty standard across luggage. It's just not standard for Beis. This is another neon detail in my bag, and I appreciate that it's monochrome in the new colorways. Don't get me wrong, a compression strap is definitely a useful thing, and it's much better to have that than have nothing at all. It's just my opinion that the standard Beis backside closure is more functional. It's more secure, and that gives us more of an ability to adjust and customize our packs. So keep in mind with the compression strap that everything that goes in there is more loose. So the bigger things that you pack, the better, and that's a little bit harder when it comes to a kid's pack versus an adult pack. And unless you're putting just one big thing back there, you need to also remember to open and close your bag from the front so that when you're opening and closing the bag, everything doesn't just fall out. In this back section, there's the laundry bag pocket, and the roller comes with a stink bag you can store in this pocket if you want to use this bag for laundry during your trip, or you can use it to pack things like shoes. The new drop also has an AirTag pocket that I think we'll be seeing in all Beis rollers moving forward. And one last note on the back side of this suitcase is the handlebar dips are creating 3 5-inch sections you might use as sort of a separation guide when you're packing. Packing the Beis Mini Roller. With all of that said, how do we pack this bag? You don't need to fully cube out your luggage, but if you want to use packing cubes for your whole suitcase or for a part of it, I found 3 really good packing cube setups for you for this bag. And if you like any of the options, of course I'm going to leave all of the links for them so you can shop them below. Option 1 is 1 medium and 1 small packing cube from the Beis 4-piece compression packing cube set. You could take 2 of the medium cubes and stack them on top of each other once they're compressed, but you can't do this with the small size because this size in this set doesn't compress. This option is good for either side of the suitcase, but I do prefer it for the front side because this is a side that does not have any handlebars that can get in the way. Option 2 is using the same Beis compression packing cube set, but this time taking 3 of the small packing cubes and placing them side by side. Again, this option works for either side of the suitcase, but I prefer it for the back side because the cubes fall in line with the guidelines that the handlebars create that we just talked about. For this option, you'll need 2 full sets of the compression packing cubes, and when you have 2 full sets, you'll now have enough cubes for option 2 on one side and option 1 on the other side. Although these options work nicely together, I still want to give you the third option, and that is the extra large packing cube from the Shake Pack set. I like this option for only the back side of the suitcase because on the front side of the suitcase, we already have that full zip compartment. And when we place this packing cube into the back side, we're recreating that full zip closure. And then there's no question that it will be containing your things when you open and close your bag. You could take it a step further and put options 1 or 2 inside of the packing cube, which I think is a little overboard, but I'm sure that somebody will do it. Whatever you pick for each side, these options take up all of the space in your roller, but it's a puzzle, right? So if you want to substitute 1 or more of the pieces for, let's say, your favorite toiletries bag or shoe bags, you can go ahead and do that. You could also use the cubes in the options for these items and not use the bags that you would typically use. You could use one option for one side and do whatever you want on the other side. All of this is fine by me. I just want to help you find the puzzle that's the best for you. If you are totally cubing it out, put clothes and shoes in different categories into different packing cubes so you can easily find your things when you're on your trip. If you're not cubing it out, that front side with the zip closure is typically where I fold all of my clothes. So if you're packing for an adult, you could probably take up all of this space with your clothes. But if you're packing for a kid, you might find that you need to share that space with something else. So a separator like a packing cube really comes in handy and will help you stay organized on your trip. At the same time, you could fold your clothes on the back side of the suitcase, and if you're going to do that, you want to fold your clothes parallel to the handlebars, adjust the height of your folds where the handlebars are, make sure that the height of your folds aren't too high for the compression straps so they don't smush your clothes. Overall, it's more complicated and harder to get right, so it's a last resort move. So I would fold your clothes on the front side of the suitcase and then put your accessories like toiletries kit, purses, shoe bags on the back side of the suitcase. Moving on to the pocket on the front side closure, this is a fun element, especially if you're packing for a kid. My immediate thought was to put toys in here, but you could also pack shoes, underwear, or something you need special access to here. And then of course we've already talked about the soft front pocket where you can put your laptop, iPad, coloring books, stickers, notebooks, maybe even your keys, something thin. Comparing the mini roller to other small carry-on rollers. Since this review was inspired by my small carry-on roller review, some questions you had over there were on comparisons, so I'm gonna answer those questions for you now. Would love a packing video comparison between the mini roller and the small carry-on roller. I came here to say the exact same thing. Which of the two is best for international travel and actually holds the most? Starting with the international piece, I compared the dimensions of both of these bags to 15 international airlines. The small carry-on roller that we looked at in the previous video fits on all 15 airlines, and the mini roller that we're looking at in this video fits on British Airways, and maybe you could squeeze it onto 9 more airlines, but really we're looking at fitting confidently on 15 airlines versus 1 airline in their overhead bins. Someone in the comments shared their personal experience and they said, I bought my daughter the Mini. We flew through France and Spain last summer. In France it was no problem since we flew with Air France and they have larger planes. Now in Spain it was. We flew with Vueling, and even though the attendant didn't flag it, it didn't fit in the overhead bin. Luckily the attendant allowed us to place it under the seat and it fit. I believe their story because there's no reason not to believe it. I just think this might have been a chance occurrence. I was recently on a Vueling flight and eyeballing it, I don't think that this mini roller would have fit under the seat. So I double checked myself on Google and the dimensions there say that it won't fit. It says it's 18 centimeters too big and that every single dimension, the width, the height, the depth is too large to fit under the seat for Vueling. And I just don't think that this item can be a personal item on any airline. The only one that I can think of that maybe it would fit would be on Iberia if you have the same plane that I happen to be on where there isn't this middle bar in between the window and the middle seat, and then those are the seats that you get and you're not sharing it with anybody else. But overall, I think that it's so risky to assume that you can fit this mini roller onto an airplane as a personal item. So at the end of the day, the small carry-on roller is better for international travel than the mini roller is, and that makes total sense because the small carry-on roller was created with international travel in mind, and the mini roller was created for kids and families with kids, and families with kids take more domestic trips throughout the year than international trips. And what this says to me is us adults think that the mini roller is so cute and we need a mini version of the mini for our international travel. Let's make it happen, Shay. So which holds the most? It should be pretty obvious that since the mini roller doesn't meet a lot of the international airline restrictions, it has more area, you can fit more in it, and it'll hold the most. Hey, do you happen to have a review on the mini roller? I'm looking to purchase it for my son. I want to make sure that it fits as a carry-on, or if I should go with the small carry-on for him. On US airlines, the mini roller does fit the carry-on size restrictions, and you might be surprised to hear this, but on our budget airlines like Spirit and Frontier, it fits into those size restrictions, which is great because those are the ones we're concerned about and those are the ones that make you put it in that bin. But on the larger airlines like Delta, JetBlue, United, and American, it technically doesn't fit into the carry-on size restrictions because it's a little too wide. But I can't see that you would roll this onto the plane and any airline attendant would say anything about the size of it because it's still gonna fit into the overhead bin, and they just seem to be a lot more lenient than some of the more budget or smaller airlines. So if you're looking for a carry-on bag for your child and you fly domestically, then you have your pick between the mini roller and the small carry-on roller, and you can pick whichever aesthetic and shape you like better and if you want that front pocket or not. And if you fly internationally with your child, then I would say go for the small carry-on roller. I'm curious as to these two, the Beis Mini Roller and the Beis Small Carry-On Roller, in comparison to the Haze Airlight. Ideally want to buy one bag that would be the best for international travel and can fit the most, LOL. I'd love to explore more about Haze luggage, but for now we're just going to stick to the question about size. Looking at the dimensions of the Haze 21-inch Airlight, it's 21 inches high by 14.5 inches wide by 9 inches deep. It's an 1.5 inches wider from left to right than the base small carry-on roller and 2 inches larger overall than the base mini roller. It's the largest of the 3 suitcases that we're talking about right now, and therefore in theory it holds the most. Again, we have that second layer to this question of which is the best for international travel. Looking at the same list of 15 international airlines, the Haste 21-inch Airlight fits in the overhead bins on 11 of the airlines. So on 75% of the airlines, you will be flying worry-free internationally, and you'll have that extra 1.5 inches to pack in. Or on 100% of the airlines, you can fly internationally worry-free, but you won't have that extra 1.5 inches to pack in. So the question is really on you of what's more important, the fit in the plane or the fit in the pack. Pack the mini roller with me. Can you show an adult packing video in the Base Kids mini roller? Of course, let's do it. I asked you guys over on Instagram what trip you wanted to see me pack for in this bag, and I had the most requests for a work trip, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to sprinkle in packing tips for any kind of trip throughout this pack too, so even if you don't travel for work, you can still get something out of this pack. Since this is a carry-on size bag, I decided to pack for a full work week or 5-day work trip. The first thing I packed was a pair of jeans. Depending on how dressed up you need to be on your work trip, this could be a pair of pants you wear during the workday, or my boyfriend says his coworkers always want to change into jeans between the workday and dinner to be more comfortable, so that's the assumption in this pack, and that's why they're packed first. All of the clothes I'm bringing can be mixed and matched, but I planned this pack with outfit ideas in mind, so we're packing in an order that's true to that. So the 3 tops packed after the jeans are a long sleeve top and a cardigan that can be worn with or without the bodysuit packed after it to create 2 outfits with the brown pants I'm packing after them. The next 3 tops are a short sleeve bodysuit, short sleeve cardigan, and long sleeve button up that create 3 outfits with the black pants packed after these 3 tops. Again, I packed with ideas of what my 5 work outfits would look like, but any of the 6 tops I'm packing can be worn with the jeans, brown, or black pants, so even though I'm only packing 9 pieces of clothes, there are about 18 outfit options so far. And the last clothes you'll see me pack in this part of the suitcase is a pair of pajamas for the week. Work clothes tend to be more wrinkle prone, so if you're worried about wrinkles, fold white tissue paper inside your clothes to prevent wrinkles like you see me doing with a couple of the shirts in this pack. It is important that it's white so the color of the tissue paper doesn't bleed onto your clothes. Tissue paper or not, I'm file folding all of my clothes to the width and height of the suitcase to use as much of the available space to pack as possible. For me in this pack personally, I'm just using the shell of the suitcase and not using any of my packing cube options for a few reasons. Most of the clothes I'm packing are in the same category, which is work clothes. I want to be able to see all of my options when I'm getting ready, and when I travel with this suitcase that butterflies open, it's easy to keep the suitcase open throughout the whole trip and get dressed from there instead of unpacking. Now that all of the clothes are packed, I want to check how I'm doing on space, and there's still plenty of it in the front side of the roller, so I'm putting socks and underwear here as well. I'm also adding a belt that I can wear with any of the outfits packed, and instead of keeping it rolled like I store it at home, I'm tucking it around the perimeter of the packed clothes. Zipping up this side of the bag, I told you the pocket on top is really deep and wanted to really be able to show you this. So this is where I'm packing a blazer that can be thrown on with any outfit I have packed that doesn't already have a cardigan in case it's cold or I want to dress an outfit up. The front side is nice and packed with clothes, so now let's move on to the back side of the roller. This is where I'm going to put everything else. On the back side, I'm packing 1 hair tool and placing that in the dip between the handlebars. On top of that, the double-sided Base on-the-go essentials case with toiletries, skincare, makeup, and extras like wrinkle release. Then I'm packing 2 pairs of shoes, a slide, and a pump. I wanted 2 work-appropriate shoes, one that was a flat and one that was a heel. When I pack shoes, I want to take up as little space as possible, so I match the top of these shoes' toes and heels to one another, which kind of makes a rectangle. I'm also placing the shoes in shoe bags because shoes are dirty. I'd wear sneakers to travel, which is why I packed a couple pairs of socks earlier. And then there's a ton of room for work swag or anything else you pick up along the way. Even though I have this room, I'd pack a daily work tote separately with your computer, electronics, wallet, and anything else you need for work, so it's ready for you every day of your trip. And that's the pack. Like I said in the small carry-on roller video, there's definitely a method to my madness with what I'm packing and how I'm folding and placing things. So let me know if that's something you'd like me to talk even more about, or if you'd be interested in an in-depth online course about it. Otherwise, that's the mini roller by Beis. Let me know if you had any questions while you were watching, and let me know if you have any requests for travel bag reviews, travel packs, or anything organization. If you liked this video, I appreciate you taking a second to hit the like button and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.